Hello and welcome. Let's jump right into today's explainer because honestly, we're embarking on a pretty incredible journey today. We're bridging the gap between traditional West African cuisine and some hard, undeniable botanical science. We're talking about Miyan Kuka. If you're not familiar with it, well, prepare to be amazed. We're going to explore how one ancient tree provides not just a culturally rich, comforting meal, but an absolutely proven scientific superfood.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We'll start with the northern Nigerian delight, then look at the tree of life, check out a phytochemical powerhouse, see how it's defending the body, step into the kitchen for the art of cooking, and wrap up with culture and hospitality.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the Northern Nigerian Delight.
Just picture it, a traditional Hausa dining table. You've got the rich aroma of roasted locust beans and spices, and a hot, earthy green soup served right alongside a steaming, generous portion of tuwo, those dense, carbohydrate-rich rice balls. And believe it or not, the whole thing starts with absolute sheer scale. The mighty baobab tree. People literally call it the tree of life. We're talking about giants that can grow up to 10 meters in diameter, living for hundreds of years in the hot, dry regions of tropical Africa. This literal giant produces the core ingredient for Miyan Kuka.
Which naturally begs the question, how in the world does a rugged, towering, ancient plant end up in a savory, comforting bowl of soup? I mean, just think about the transformation required to go from bark and branches to a deeply flavorful, super mucilaginous dish that pairs perfectly with sticky tuwo. It's a real culinary marvel.
Moving on to Section 2, the Tree of Life.
So, a single baobab tree can yield an astonishing 130 kilograms of fresh, vibrant green leaves every single year. To actually make Miyan Kuka, people pick these leaves, dry them carefully in the shade, which is crucial to preserve the nutrients, by the way, and then grind them down into a super fine, bright green powder.
Now, Miyan Kuka, which is also known as luru soup, is, well, visually it's pretty unassuming, I'll be totally honest with you. It's thick, dark green, highly mucilaginous texture, think okra on steroids, might catch a first-timer slightly off guard. But listen, whatever it lacks in flashy visual appeal, it more than makes up for it with an unbelievable depth of flavor and a nutritional profile that is frankly unmatched.
Which brings us to Section 3, a phytochemical powerhouse.
The real magic is right here in the data. When researchers analyzed the proximate composition of baobab leaves, they found an absolute nutritional powerhouse. It's packed with nearly 20% protein, and it's got over 53% complex carbohydrates. Oh, and that 8.66% ash content, that actually represents a massive, dense underlying layer of minerals.
To really put that into perspective, consuming just 20 grams of this dry baobab leaf powder covers up to 16% of a child's recommended daily protein intake. I mean, wow! That is exactly why this soup has historically been a literal lifesaver during times of food scarcity. Plus, it's highly recommended for postpartum mothers, giving them this vital rush of protein, folic acid, and vitamin B to speed up recovery.
And it gets even better when we look at the trace elements. Extensive studies from different habitats in Sudan show this tree acts like a giant mineral sponge. Depending on if it's growing in the Blue Nile or Kordofan regions, it pulls incredible amounts of nutrients from the soil. We're talking nearly 3,000 milligrams of calcium, over 1,600 milligrams of potassium, and around 550 milligrams of magnesium per 100 grams. For a leafy green, those numbers are just completely off the charts.
All right, Section 4, defending the body. Let's look at how these phytochemicals actually work on two critical fronts in the human body. On one hand, you have blood sugar balance. Now, remember how Miyan Kuka is usually eaten with that carbohydrate-dense tuwo? Well, it turns out nature provided the perfect biological counterbalance. The baobab leaves are incredibly rich in saponins and polyphenols. These compounds actually inhibit amylase enzymes, giving you a hypoglycemic effect that physically helps stabilize your blood sugar right after you eat that carb-heavy meal. And then on the flip side, there's immune health. The extract provides scientifically proven antiviral activity against infections like influenza, all backed by massive hits of vitamin C and zinc.
And the list just keeps going. Studies show it helps your digestive health by actually preventing stomach inflammation and ulcers. It's ridiculously high at antioxidants, folic acid, vitamin B, and manganese.
But here's the real kicker. Especially for liver health, it has incredibly potent detoxifying properties. When you're regularly consuming heavy, dense carbohydrates like tuo, having a soup that actively protects your liver against toxicities and helps your digestive tract process the meal is, well, it's an incredible holistic defense system. Those old traditional claims about the baobab being a medicinal tree of life, yeah, they hit the nail right on the head.
Let's head into Section 5, the art of cooking.
So, bringing all this science back into the kitchen, making Miyan Kuka is a true art form. You generally start by boiling some bony beef or lamb along with dry fish until it's perfectly tender. Then, you build this amazing flavor base using pure groundnut or palm oil, onions, fresh ginger, Scotch bonnet peppers, and, this is crucial, dua, which is fermented locust beans. Now, here is a massive pro tip for the beginners out there. You have to remove the meat and fish from the broth before you add the kuka powder. If you don't, you're going to have a bad time. You sprinkle the powder in, just a little at a time, whisking vigorously with a wooden spoon so you avoid a lumpy soup. Once it's completely smooth, you toss the meat back in, let it simmer gently, and serve it up hot with your tuo.
And finally, Section 6, culture and hospitality.
Because beyond the incredible nutrition and the complex liver-protecting science, making and sharing Miyan Kuka is a fiercely guarded, beautiful family tradition. It's an absolute staple for Ramadan, giving people this light but incredibly filling nourishment after a long day of fasting, and it's a huge centerpiece during Eid celebrations. But really, it's about everyday family bonding, grandmothers, mothers, and daughters cooking together, passing down these specific, nuanced techniques, the exact right balance of spices, and stories from one generation to the next. Just consider this traditional quote: welcoming a guest with this dish signifies respect and warmth, embodying the house of belief in treating guests as family. Food really is the ultimate medium for hospitality here. Sitting down and sharing a communal bowl of Miyan Kuka is a profound, deeply welcoming gesture of unity and respect across northern Nigeria.
So, that leaves us with one final question for you. Are you ready to step out of your culinary comfort zone? We've seen the hard science today, right? The massive protein spikes, the wild mineral density, the perfect blood sugar balancing act for those dense 2O pairings, and those vital liver-protecting antioxidants. Plus, we've seen the gorgeous cultural heritage it represents. So go on, seek out this remarkable nutrient-dense superfood. Grab yourself some cocoa powder and literally taste history for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.